Hi, good morning. I want to go ahead and rediscuss this Ramsey's theorem, and I want to first play a couple bits from this.
There is no resume, no formula for heroism. Sometimes it is the most unlikely people who step up. Such was the case in Cleveland this week when a very idiosyncratic hero.
Yeah, okay, that's an out of place word because he's talking about a structure or a behavioral characteristic, and in this point it'd be a group, thus being the released demons and the evil spirits on the planet. Now let's go to one more section. All this is fluff and nonsense. This goes through. They're making money over this hand over fist. Anyways, let's go to this next section.
On Monday afternoon, Charles Ramsey says when he heard a woman screaming, he raced over and broke down the door to his neighbor, Ariel Castro's home. The rest, as they say, is history. Even the Cleveland police chief weighed in.
Okay, right here, I'm gonna leave you. I won't go into this, but just think Ed Rendell was I believe he was somewhere in Pennsylvania. Ed Rendell. Ed Rendell. Now let's go ahead and listen to this so-called police chief's voice, and I'll let you have that one on your own. But I'm gonna move on. But it's Ed Rendell.
The rest, as they say, is history. Even the Cleveland police chief weighed in.
Mr. Ramsey does deserve
Ed Rendell.
a lot of credit, and he is the true key to this case.
As did the mother of one of the rescued.
So that isn't what I want to talk about. I want to talk. They're referring to him as a dish technician, and then you saw the word idiosyncrasy. This is what they were using anyway. It's a structural behavior characteristic to a group, and we already talked about what that group is. So they're not talking about anything that you think they're talking about. It has nothing to do with any of that. All right. So let's go back to this theorem, which is this. If you take this, which talks about this is the lowest, or this is the base definition, that if you take something that is red and blue, thus this, that at the point that they meet, that has to become a singularity or a 0 point, or to where it would be indigo, or to where you could then short the system, thus crossing over, if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm going to draw a picture. I drew this picture, right? So I would like to kind of go off Wikipedia because they talk in terms that doesn't say anything. So I kind of want to just explain to you what I'm thinking. If you remember yesterday, it works out to this number when they showed that number, like that, right? With the center being the 0 point, right? So then if I call this 1, the top of this pyramid 1, that would be your 0, which means that's your, what would be the eye, or the stargate, or the center of the little, their their star deal. That would be this, and then you see the trapezoidal center, which is just like the one that they buried that old pope in. So you got to understand all this is connected back to this anyway. So we're gonna go with 1 here. This is just, I'm freewheeling here, so bear with me. So if we say that this is 1, and then this would be 0, what's the next number that you could possibly have? Which is going to be a 2 and a 2. So 2 and then 3, right? And then 3. I'm not the best. Oops. 3 and 4 and 4. You see what I'm saying? Of course, every level you go down is farther away from what we're going to say this is in this instance, which would be the truth. All right, which is here, because there is only a single point of truth. There isn't variations of truth. But as you can see, like normally they have you down to multiple levels. I mean, they could have sometimes 400 levels to a lie that they have you down. And for you to get up to the truth, you would have to somehow sort all this out. But then, of course, you don't have to worry about that, because if you just start up here each time, and how do you do that again? At least I just pray for a revelation, And I say, just Jesus Christ, show me revelation, show me the truth. Boom, and you get right here every time, bullseye. So, anyways, so with this theorem, these guys are saying, how do we cross? Being if I can make this kind of like a Mason pole. I'm sorry, I'm not really good at this art, but then this would be, if you could imagine this in all their Mason lore, this would be their two pillars, and they have this the sun and the moon they like. So they're trying to arc this because they can't get back here. So they're trying to arc this and become above is the theory. And then they'll supersede God, right? And just kind of, they'll have this, they're hoping to short this, which means cut this out completely, become their own reality. Then they get to keep everybody in all these levels and levels of lies forever and ever and ever. See how that works? It's called the enslavement of mankind. And so just become a child of God, and He will show you the truth every time, and you'll just jump right to the middle. You don't even have to worry about all this nonsense. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. God bless you all.